Very good evening. We welcome all the seniors, friends, and participants on behalf of Team Legal Speak webinar. Today, we proudly welcome Dr. Meenakshi Sundaram, Senior Advocate High Court, who is going to present today's webinar on the topic of views on the evaluation of intellectual property rights in India. He is having a vast experience of more than 40 years in this practice on tax and allied subjects. Senior sir is mainly connected to the direct tax practice. Apart from the practice, he is also a guest lecturer in Madras University, Anna University, also in Ambedkar Law University. We proudly welcome Dr. Meenakshi sir to present his presentation. Welcome, sir. Over to you, Mr. Dr. Meenakshi sir. You can start your presentation, sir. Welcome, welcome.
Okay, thank you, sir. At the outset, I would like to thank Mr. Jayachandran, Senior Advocate and my close friend for more than 40 years, and his colleague, Mr. Mudimanan, who is also a very friend for the past 20 years. In this occasion, I thank my professor, Mr. Dr. A. Balu, Professor and HOD of Madras University, and Mr. Manogaran, and Mr. Venugopal, Dr. Ambrose. Because but for them, I would not have come across the importance of the implication of the intellectual property right. Because it is they who gave this opportunity to do some work on this particular subject. See, basically, I am a tax lawyer and I was dealing with the taxes for the past 20 years. Well, so I got an opportunity to visit the university. At that time, I got this opportunity to study the law. Initially, my basic understanding about IPR is only that it consists of patent, trademark, copyright, etc. With that presumption only, I started studying it. But when I was called upon to study the impact, then I came across that it is not a municipal law or a domestic law or confined to India alone. This intellectual property right is eminent from one of the multilateral treaty, which has got far-reaching consequences and a totally different from all other treaties that was entered into so far and even in future also. Before I get into those areas, I will only say that what this intellectual property right means and how it gains importance. So intellectual property right is basically a statutory right. The statute recognizes the contribution of certain intellectuals for the welfare of the society. Their intellectual contribution will benefit the society and therefore their contribution is recognized in such a way that they can exploit that property for a limited period of time without any interference from anybody else. Here, if you see, even though it is called intellectual property, right? Like the other properties where it is movable and immovable, you can feel and touch, is not the case in this case. There is total difference between the property that is known till now and the intellectual property that is recognized so far. As far as the other property is concerned, it is visible, you can touch and feel it, and the enjoyment of the property is known. Suppose if you own a house property, you will know how you can enjoy it, how you will exercise over those properties. But as far as the intellectual property is concerned, it is non-tangible and it has to be translated or transmitted into a form of some tangible item. Here the difference is whether the intellectual property is in respect of the goods or other tangible in which it is transmitted or the knowledge that is possessed and enjoyed by the intellectuals. So intellectual property right is a special kind of category where the right is the contribution of the individual is intellectual knowledge. But those intellectual knowledge, as long as it is with him, is not recognized as a right. Those right he must disclose and it should form part of some article or some material by which the benefit is to be distributed. So this intellectual property right is 100% a statutory right which has got no presumption or no other equity or any other thing will come into play for the recognition. So this intellectual property right is necessarily to be defined under the statute itself. This right, as far as the history goes back, is even 18 years, 560 years, all those years, these rights are in different forms. In the earlier part of time, it is recognized only as intellectual mind, or the king or the crown to recognize or extend certain privileges to certain individual, considering it's her pleasure to consider such thing. That's the reason why in English period, the patent is a right that is granted or issued to a certain individual, conferring certain benefit that is mentioned in the document itself. So the patent issued by the Queen will tell the people at large or declare to the open people that these are all the privilege that the Queen given to certain individual or the recipient to be enjoyed by him monopoly. As far as the enjoyment is concerned, intellectual property enjoyment and the regular property enjoyment is totally different. As far as the traditional property is concerned, the enjoyment is positive. If you own a house, you will stay in the house, you will rent it out, or you will enjoy the house. If you got a movable like car, dress, anything, you can wear the shirt and enjoy it. You can drive the car and enjoy it. As far as the intellectual property is concerned, it is totally different. Here, the right is conferred to the intelligent for his contribution, not to be enjoyed by him alone, but he has got a right to restrain all other persons to be enjoyed without his permission. No one can enjoy the intellectual property that is contributed or disclosed by the intellectuals if the law recognizes that as a right without his permission. If without his permission, if anybody try to enjoy it, then he is liable for consequences as per the law that is prescribed. Then with regard to one thing that I want to emphasize is, as far as the intellectual property is, the traditional property is concerned, it cannot be expanded or its enjoyment is limited to the quantity that is available. So if a person has got a one car, he can drive only that one car. That car cannot be made two. So its enjoyment is restricted to one only. As far as the intellectual property is concerned, the more and the people can enjoy, it is unlimited. Suppose if a person has written a book, that book can be copied, and it can be reprinted so many times. And any number of people enjoy, the property will give right. Here, why I am telling this one is because I want to make a submission at a late point of time. The value of intellectual property will be on increase as long as more and more people are enjoying it. And if the value will get reduced if the people are not enjoying it. As far as the traditional property is concerned, it is otherwise. It based only on the market value. So I said this was in the later part of them, I'll tell you why the valuation was not considered at the time of negotiating and concluding the contract. That's the reason I was telling. Then with regard to this intellectual property, right, it is territorial in nature. If a person develops some right and if it discloses it, it is confined or it is limited only to the Indian domestic. But because of the treaty, his right can be extended or expanded by approaching the other country, the member country, and inform them that this is my invention or this is my intellectual contribution, and therefore the right may be granted. So the right of intellectual property, even though restrictive as territorial in nature, it can be expanded and enjoyed without any further effort from the intellectual or the contributor by getting it recognized under the respective municipal law. So as long as at the time of coming into force of the WTO, it is 142 countries are. So if a person got an intellectual contribution, and if that is recognizable as a statutory right under the municipal law of the country, then he is entitled to go to other countries of the WTO member country, then get it recognized as a right, and therefore his enjoyment is expanded. Unlike the traditional property, which is restricted to where the property is, here his enjoyment right is expanded to such an extent that he can go to the entire member country and get his right recognized, and he can exploit it. When I say exploit the intellectual property right, I technically mean that he can restrain the people of that country not to copy or imitate, etc., and all those things. And therefore, this right is in a way called a negative right. Then I come why I chosen the topic as a view on the intellectual property or the evaluation is I am not keen to say what are the criteria for granting of the right, what are the implications, all those things are normally is a person anybody can study. But my anxiety is people at large, we talk so many things, but we do not know how certain things are imposed on us, how the government is not are restrained from going beyond a limit because according to me, they are restrained by the treaty that is they can enter into under the WTO. See, the object, the WTO, if you go into the history to know little, just I am tracing only from the two world war that happened. Great Depression happened. There is a lot of unemployment, and the developed countries have a lot of surplus capacity to use. All these things are thought about the developed countries unless they to come out of the depression or to expand their market and to gain employment, unless they move out of their country, they cannot be coming out of the problem. So they convene a meeting among all the countries, that is, the developed countries like America, Britain, Canada, Brazil, Germany, etc., and all developed countries, and they convene a meeting in the year 1986. I'm sorry, before that, that is after the Second World War, and they formulate three institutions. One is the World Bank, one is International Monetary Fund, IBRT Bank, then International Trade Organization. Three organs were constituted for the purpose of reviewing or coming out of all those problems. When it was put to America, the American Congress accepted the establishment of World Bank and IMF, but they refused to take in the International Trade Organization on the ground that it is too early for them to get into a treaty for restrictive aspect. So they prefer that bilateral or multilateral agreement between other countries is a sufficient mechanism for them to progress well. Therefore, the Senate in 1950 rejected the proposal of establishing the International Trade Organization happened. So the object of establishing three organizations among all the countries that is consist of developed and developing countries did not come through. But at the same time, the developed country that is United States established the two organs of IMF and World Bank. So International Trade Organization was left out, and America, using its own special laws and other things, they negotiated bilaterally or multilaterally with other developing countries and other people, and they were carrying on the business. It went on for some more time, and in the 80s and all, normally now we call it as multinational corporation. In those days, it's called transnational corporation. These corporations mainly consist of pharmaceutical sector. They found that their medicine and pharmaceutical drugs are not getting enough returns on the investment they made because of the piracy and counterfeiting that is happening from developing countries. So they try to do some work on this. At that time, United Nations was in existence, and World Intellectual Property Organization, which is popularly known as WIPO, was in existence. Again, in the United Nations, a Commission of Trade and Development also was working for helping and developing the technological development in the developing countries only. So WIPO has got two organs, that is United Nations has got two organs to look into the intellectual property right. Therefore, the developed countries with reservation, they thought that in WIPO they may not be able to get the expected results, and the transnational corporation cannot deal through WIPO, and they thought that to get out this intellectual property right from the WIPO would be the right method for dealing with the intellectual property right according to their ideas. So they come out with a different concept to state that let intellectual property right be dealt with by the WIPO under United Nations, but let us deal with intellectual property right with respect of only trade. Only in respect of trade, we will have a separate organ, and thereby they can bypass or get away from the United Nations clutches. This is how the World Trade Organization concept has come into existence. This they started from the beginning of the 1950, that is the International Trade Organization that happened in 1947. So in 84 or 86, this transnational corporation, through this international body, which is not legally formed because it was not recognized, they started negotiating with the developing countries in respect of trade-related intellectual property rights. They took 8 years. Why I'm telling you this? They took 8 years of time because the developed countries have got a clear agenda what they required in respect of intellectual property rights and the classes that requires to be incorporated in all the municipal developing countries, so that it should be easy for them instead of going to every country and fight. If the municipal law of individual country or developing countries are akin or equal to the developing countries law, then the implementation mechanism alone is required to be done. In all other respects, they need not have the trouble. So what they started doing was they look upon the provisions of the individual act that requires to be incorporated under municipal law, and therefore they worked on it. Two things that bothered them is, one is the process patent that is in vogue or enforced in many of the developing countries, including in India. As far as the Indian patent law is concerned, in 1930, one Lahore judge was appointed to look into the patent law, how it is affected in India. And thereafter, after independence, the Indian government has appointed one more person, Rajagopal Iyengar, to consider how the patent law is to be for the benefit of the Indian nation alone. At that time, we had only the patent law following the English law, wherein only product patent was in force. So the Rajagopal Iyengar gave a report to the government in 1950, stating that product patent is not beneficial in the given circumstances of India, which is only in a difficult situation, and therefore we must change it to process patent. See, I'm only trying to tell you what is a process patent and a product patent. To reach Paris, if you find one route, then no other person has got any right to find any other route to reach Paris, and we will get a right. In process patent, one person can reach Paris through Central, and another person can through via Mount Road, another person can go via Beach Road. All these people will get the right of reaching the Paris as individual right, and they can exploit it. That is a process patent. So medicinal and pharmaceutical sector, where process patent alone was put in, and in 1970, Indian Patent Act was enacted so as to incorporate mainly the process patent. It is the process patent that gave rise to patent in India after 1970. As far as the developed countries and those who are already invented some product have faced the problem of counterfeiting of their similar goods in India or developed countries. And in the course of commercial transaction, we are also exporting to their country. Suppose a painkiller tablet for headache is sold in America for 100 rupees. In India, by process patent with some modification, we are doing it. We are exporting to US for 10 rupees. So the America on the one hand lose their income because of the competition through counterfeiting of this process patent product. On the other, it is a discouragement for them to invest on in research and development. As far as the developing country is concerned, since we can't afford to pay 100 rupees and buy a medicine which to cure the headache, we used to develop our own medicine that is on process patent, and we were fulfilling our requirement. Then one other thing which all of you know because of the latest corona disease that is happening in India and all is we have got number of different kind of methods, that is Ayurveda, Siddha, and Unani and other three, four type of medicines are there. And we are also following certain traditional methods. Each area is having their own way of curing the disease that is happening in their places. See, all these things are our strength to avoid spending money on drugs and other things. So we were comfortable and we are going on with the process patent reaching. Till the community aspect of the TRIPS agreement, there are only 4 types of intellectual property that is in force. One is the patent, design, trademark, and only copyright. These 4 are the 4 intellectual property that is covered by Paris Convention, Berne Convention, and Mandarin Convention and other things. All these 4 conventions are happened in the 1818 and other things. As far as the Paris Convention is concerned, please remember that Indian government, after discussing elaborately, refused to become a party to that agreement for the reason that it is not, because we are deviated from that particular treaty. So while all these things happened between 86 to 94, there are 8 rounds of discussion that happened. And at the end of the 8th round, one Secretary General called Dunkel, and his report itself is called the Dunkel report. And at the end of the 8th meeting, he called all the countries and he told them there is no point in keep on discussing it every now and then. Here I am giving the draft proposal in respect of intellectual property that is to be implemented. Either you take it or accept it, or you go without it. There is no point in further discussion. See, at that point of time, after 8 years of discussion, after there are a lot of persuasion, this and that, and using the special provisions of the United States, many of the developing countries were in agreement, if not outright, they made up their mind that there is no point going out. That is twofold reason is according to you. One is already by de facto, the agreement they entered into 1950, that is General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, they were implementing bilaterally and other things. So accepting that one, this new right, there is no new thing is going to happen, and they thought that there is no other goal, so they agreed in principle to accept the agreement which established World Trade Organization that came into effect on 1/1/95. There are about 7-8 agreements that is involved, and the important and most prominent agreement that changed the scenario of the entire world is TRIPS agreement, trade-related intellectual property right. And WIPO, as I told earlier, continue to administrate other intellectual property right without reference to trade. It is only a nomenclature, but in effect, the TRIPS or the WTO has taken over the entire regime of intellectual property right, and WIPO is only a paper tiger which has got very little force to deal with all these things. So the TRIPS, the WTO is one of the treaty which has got far-reaching consequences. Like India has got number of states. There is Union of India, that is central government, do not have any state, but they are the lawmaking authority like that. Every country like United developing countries, at that time it was around 142 or like that. But a law that is enumerated under the WTO is such that it has got everything with regard to intellectual property right. That is, it's starting from defining how the right should be, then how the right should be implemented, what all the provision that the municipal law should have, and above all, the World Trade Organization is the first international treaty which provide total mechanism of a judicial forum which deals with dispute that arise in respect of any dispute that arose in implementing the agreement that is encompassed in the WTO with particular reference to intellectual property right, that is popularly known as TRIPS. It is because of this reason only, because the implementation mechanism with respect to the municipal law, because the main purpose or the object for which the TRIPS agreement provide is this. I'm just reading the principle because on which I'm going to make some submission. Promote technological development and dissemination of knowledge to the welfare of the country. Balancing the conflict interest between the public good and private right. As I told earlier, intellectual property right is a private right. It is conferred on the individual who is the contributor for the benefit or the welfare of the people at large. Then promote domestic industries against foreign monopolies. The object is that foreign monopolies should not happen and the domestic industry should happen. Then the fourth is create atmosphere of sustainable development. This is the four object, or as most of your lawyers will see that the preamble only will dictate how the law or the purpose for which the law is enacted. Here the preamble which I read did not use anywhere that the object is for the purpose of the individual nation who are implementing the law. There is no use of the word that how the knowledge is going to be disseminated to the people at large and other things. At the 8th round, that is the final round of discussion, our commerce minister, who put a lot of effort that the act did not reflect that it will be beneficial for us and there is no assurance that it will be useful to us and other things. And therefore, he opposed that the amendment or the preamble require some concession needs to be given. At that time, since basically we agreed all the provisions of the act, the developed countries did not worry that they said whatever you want, that the preamble cannot be altered, but whatever you want, you can add it as a separate article to the TRIPS agreement. So there are two articles were added, that is Article 7, that is the object of the treaty, that is, while the developing countries, while enacting the municipal law or alter the municipal law so as to be in conformity to the TRIPS provision, that protection and enforcement of IPR should be such that it will contribute for the promotion of technical innovation and transfer of dissemination of technical knowledge in a manner conducive to social and economic welfare and a balance of right between a private right and a public right. This is the object that we wanted to be incorporated, and the principle on which it is to be done is the members, the developing countries who are altering their municipal law so as to be in conformity to the provision is such that it should be adopted so as to protect that public health should not be jeopardized. And the municipal law of the developing countries, when they adopt the laws of the treaty that is contemplated, should not affect their public health, nutrition, and vital important section should not be affected. These two things were added in the form of Article 7 and 8 so that the object that I read earlier, that is 4 objects, that the promotion and the standard to be maintained and all will be balanced, that it will be beneficial to us. With these 2 things in mind only, I propose that my object of giving a talk on this is, after 20 years, the municipal, in this, I wanted to say, because Mr. Etrajli is there, our Indian constitution provides that the executive has got absolute power to enter into treaties and other things, and the parliament is supposed to give admission that it will be given effect to. It is called just cogence, that is good faith. See, there is no provision in international law or international treaty that can compel a municipal law or a state that you should enforce it. But in goodwill gesture, the individual country or party to the treaty will enforce it. But here, the intellectual property right, which form part of the WTO, which contain provision that even the law of the municipal of individual nation is dictated. Say, for example, the glaring example and the purpose for which the 8 years time was taken is to amend the patent provision in respect of the grant of patent under the Indian law. See, from 1970, based on 2 reports from 35 and 50 that is submitted to the parliament, after elaborated discussion, after more than 20 years of time, we come out with the proposal of 1970 Act. Then with regard to Paris Conventions, it is contradictory to our state law. We did not become a member. Then Paris Cooperation Treaty, we did not become a member. But the impact or the influence of World Trade Organization and multilateral treaty is such that all these things were given a go by. Then our municipal law is required to be amended in conformity to the treaty provision, that is, we have to provide product patent. Then, as per Article 2 of the TRIPS agreement, we have to accept and become a member of Paris Convention, and you should become a member of Patent Cooperation Treaty. And all those treaty obligations which we are not incorporated or we are agreed to become part of the Indian law. So in effect, then one other thing is, in America, the patent law prescribe only 18 years period. As far as India is concerned, for the drugs, we provided only 7 years from the grant, from the filing of the patent, or from the grant 5 years of time. In all other categories, we have provided only 14 years of time. But TRIPS provided 20 years of time. Only here I wanted to say, recollect as to why I said the valuation of an intellectual property right. The more the use, the value will be more. A product manufactured out of intellectual property, if it's sold in America, you will get 100 rupees. If it's sold in developing countries, that is 146 countries, he may get 1,000 rupees. In effect, his addition is 1,100 rupees. So therefore, the earlier period of 18 years should be reduced, whereas the patent law provides for 20 years of time, and there is no discussion as to how the 20 years period is fixed. As in many cases, our court used to say, it is only a random this way or that way. What difference it makes 18 or 17? But why I am telling you is, when there is 18 years itself is provided in the developed countries, and when we are having only 7 years based on various circumstances, and when we are giving higher rate of protection, thereby reducing our ability to get patent, the longer period is not beneficial to us. And as everybody discussed, and even at that time, I also was telling that the price of pharmaceutical medical drug will go up in the ladder. And even at that time, we gave the example that because at that time itself, Pakistan was having the product patent, where the pharmaceutical that was selling in India was selling at a very high price in Pakistan. So we gave a lot of, in this regard, the Honorable Justice B.R. Krishna here from the Supreme Court has constituted a national commission, and one gentleman by name Mr. Kalia, who was a secretary in the health department, who resigned his post and he joined under the National Commission Organization, and they fought tooth and nail against the implementation of product patent in India. And one other NGO, to my knowledge only, I am not very much acquainted with other people. And one other lady, Vandana Shiva from Delhi, who constantly fighting even today with regard to agriculture and other sectors, to say that these acts are not beneficial to the Indian at large. And at that relevant point of time, she filed request before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court dismissed, saying that it is premature at the bill level, we can't argue it, and later then it becomes a law, and the fight is going on. Why I said all these things was, then with regard to trademark, two amendments were made. Then even with regard to patent, there is no need for the patent to work in India. Then even if you import a patent drug into India, it amounts to working on the patent. All these amendments were made so that the developed countries who need not have their industry or factory in India, and they need not supply the product into India, mere export into India is sufficient compliance for the treaty provision. So the act were amended far-reachingly so as to be in compliance to the treaty provision without reference to any benefit or usefulness to the Indian condition at all. Then with regard to the compulsory licensing and government usage, which is the consolence that was reported to the parliament, that we have got the compulsory license provision and compulsory acquisition. These two provisions are there, by which if any of the drug is misused or abused of IPR, we can always exercise it. But to my knowledge, till now, one or two occasions they have exercised it and nothing happened. With regard to drug abuse is concerned, I can tell you only one thing. In South Africa, when the AIDS were in the problem, at that time Nelson Mandela was there, and they violated and they are taking generic drug from us for protecting. At that time, the Constitution amendment is required. At that time, the legal luminary advised to Nelson Mandela that you have the TRIPS agreement, you cannot amend the law for importing generic drug, that is violation. At that time, Nelson Mandela was telling that if I am not able to save my people by this amendment, there is no point in I am being the president, and therefore he made the amendment. 6 pharmaceutical companies filed a writ petition in the Supreme Court of the South Africa, and at the time of agreement, many of the NGOs who fought against that made an announcement that all the people who are opposing the move should wear the shirt and go to the judge court. And the entire people, including the president of the South African, Nelson Mandela, was wearing that banyan, and he was there. When the court was about to start, and the opposition 8-6 company found that, including the judge, was wearing the banyan. So they withdrew the writ petition, and that is how the matter was tackled. My opinion is this type of fighting against the medicine and other things cannot happen every now and then. As we are seeing many times that many issues are fight at the maximum at least once, then it fizzle out for some reason or the other. Then you go to trademark. Similar is the situation where trademark need not be worked in India. Even a well-known mark, there is no need for a mark to be worked or registered in India. If a mark is well known by because of the advertisement that you saw in paper and other things, those marks cannot be adopted in India. And then one other thing is the entire intellectual property rests on the premises that disclosure is a must. Unless the person who invented something, unless the person who coined some intellectual is disclosed to the people at large, he will not be granted the monopolistic state right. But when the TRIPS is concluded, it is a surprise that a new right was coined, that is a Trade Secret Act. A trade secret is a secret that is maintained by a businessman while doing his business, is also protected. To my knowledge, there is no act or enacted in consequence of this Trade Secret Act. Somebody was referring to, or in the preamble to the Right to Information Act, they mentioned that in consonance to, in complaint to the Trade Secret Act, that act was enacted. But this thing is the Trade Secret, because our developed countries who went for the meeting are put on surprise that a trade secret has come into existence for non-disclosure of the success of the formula. To my knowledge, subject to the audience opinion, Pepsi and Coca-Cola till today have not disclosed their component of manufacturing the product. Probably they may treat it as a trade secret and that cannot be disclosed. And one factor subject to verification after the enactment came into existence, I came across with a case where a person of an Indian origin in Indonesia, he worked in an organization and for difference of opinion, he resigned. And he was about to board into the flight to India. He was arrested and put behind the bars in Indonesia. On the sole ground that he has violated the trade secret that is entrusted to him because of the head of the organization. In spite of all we have put all our effort, including the past this thing. Many of you know Mr. Asogan, we consulted and all. They said that because this peculiar thing and the law is totally different, we can't do anything in Indonesia. Then, so he used to be within the prison for 15 days, and then after some time only, for reason based on he was released. Then one other factor is Geographical Indication Act was come into force. It is not something new, and a product that has got origin that is protected. At that time, you all know that we got lot of product which originate from geographical indication. That is to say, that RNA sarees, Kanjipuram Pattu saree, Kolhapur chappal, Tirupati laddu, so many things we had it, but we were not the person. I won't say it is a mistake. The person who participated or the person who went for the meeting did not have in mind to include all these things under the discussion when the geographical indication has come. But the developed countries at that point of time have come fully prepared and they added whiskey and spirit. Even in the Geographical Indication Act, recognized as a right under the Act, this particular right was added at that time itself. So there cannot be any discussion under the municipal law of any country whether the spirit and wine is a geographically supported or not, because the treaty itself recognized this. After some time, there are a lot of happening in the municipal law that took a lot of pain that these sarees and other things were find it very difficult to be recognized, and very recently only it's all happening. Then in my experience, I wanted to say that the Americans say that our intellectual property law are weak. But according to me, our laws are so strong that to obtain a patent in India, we require a lot of effort and there are a lot of satisfaction. Here I wanted to say, I don't know how many of you know that the knowledge or the novelty is not necessarily confined to one country or to the WTO countries. It is to the entire world. If a person says he invented something new, the entire world is put on notice that did anyone know about this information or the new technology. Unless the entire world is put on notice, it will not be recognized for the purpose of granting patent. Then Indian law has got one more provision, separate provision under section 3, which provides that many invention, even though recognized or satisfy the requirement of definition of patent, is not approved or recognized for the purpose of grant of patent. Then it is required industrial application. Therefore, any application is filed in India has to pass through the very rigorous test. If you all know that basmati rice, neem, and turmeric, all those things we saw only when the patent is granted by US and other developed countries. We did not, even though the procedure is there for publication before the grant of patent, but we came to know only after the grant of patent. There is procedure difference. So the developed countries are encouraging the grant of patent. And if you look upon in up to 2004, because at that time only I got the statistics, 90% of the patents that is granted were owned only by US and European countries. And developing countries did not own much patent. And even now, if you see the data that is patents granted and the patent approved under Even now, the India is on a very low level. So my endeavor as to why I look into all these things is the government is doing a lot of work to propagate all these things. But to my knowledge, it is not reaching the real inventors. When I refer to real inventors, I am really meaning the small entrepreneurs, small knowledgeable people who are inventing something. See, the best example, according to me, whether I am right or wrong, there are so many people nowadays who are claiming that coronavirus, we have got medicine and other things. Because of this tall claim that they are curing against the coronavirus, they are put into difficult task because unless it is proved and accepted, it cannot be treated as a direct medicine. And that claim is into trouble. That's why in some cases I came across that the government is arresting and all. So if the claim is different and the government must step in and receive those people's prescription and what is the revelation they have made, and they must put it to the intellectuals of their ICMR and other people. The Medical Council of India must immediately reach the people who are making such a claim, receive it, look upon it. As the other day, that Siddha doctor was telling Mr. Ethiraj's wife was such a big person. Those people must be taken the help. Bar Council of Tamil Nadu, Bar Council of India must appoint separate committee to implement, to see how the intellectual property is working. In what way they can help the small people. See, two people approached me, one person from Madurai, a Muslim man who came out with a proposal. He come out with a valve that in a valve, if you put into the engine, the consumption of oil is very, very limited, and that was used by TVS company itself, and it was successful. He says he want, and one big company want to buy it outright, but this man want a share in the exploitation of the invention. I told him, what is the point? You already give it to one company, and already I informed the other person. It little money, but he was so adamant that I will not sell it as my product, Meenakshi, so I will not give it. So the best help I can do is I filed the application with the patent office and I left it at that, because beyond that I can't help it, because there are a lot of procedures which involve money also, because it has to be published. We have to search the entire world record whether that valve is similarly valve is there and other things. So one or two occasions I do come across some of the people, and latest I come across with oil drinking company where I assisted another person where the person who was in the government himself came and filing an application for patent. I don't know how he has come out with that this thing. Then I went and told him, sir, you are an officer, you got all this information from that only. Then he says, I don't care, I don't mind my application. I said, sir, you don't get agitated. The point is, if you really have something else, you come out with it, but don't claim it as a person. Like that, what I'm trying, my endeavor is, the university, Sastra University is doing some work on this subject, because I come across one or two times. Mr. Vaidyanathan, who is there, is doing a lot of work on this type of thing, and he is encouraging some of the students. Like that, Bar Council of India takes some of the students, and some of the people like Ethiraj wife and those people who are in the helm of science, they can form some this thing, and the advocates can help. The Bar Council is saying they are giving stipend to so many people and all. They can select some of the students who are interested. I came across later some of the students from the university who are doing a lot of work on this. They can formulate some of the team and ask them to do some work, real work of getting patent and challenging the patent. One other area, because I was moving with the controller, one controller of patent, Mr. N.R. Subram, who fought with the Basmati rice and neem. He was telling the Indian government asked him to go and fight. When he went for collecting material, he found there is no material available with regard to the cultivation of rice, with regard to the use of material, the turmeric and everything. He has to go after everybody, which I think now a lot of NGOs are doing, go to villages and they are recording and they are creating documentation, and government is also doing all these things. Before I conclude, I wanted to say one thing as to how the developing countries are acting. In Dutch, they had a research journal. The journal itself is called the Research Resource, published from UK. which is considered as a kind of alternative to patent. The journal disseminates research and technology ideas in different scientific disciplines on a regular basis. The scientists try to publish their lines of research thinking as early as possible through this journal. Their purpose is to preempt. Preempt means you can't go to. Preempt the move of other scientists working on similar lines. On the other hand, the companies tend to delay the publication of their technological development in this journal with a view to protecting their business secret. See, here is a journal which is published by a developed country which spend money on invention and they are disclosing it. Assume you spend huge money in India. You come out with the invention and you are about to go to controller of patent to file it to get a prior date. At that time, if the journal is published, and if that journal discloses the inventive step that you have taken in the form of disclosure, then your whole invention is a waste and you will not get a patent. So, and another thing is, even big companies who are doing some research and thus this field are no other go except to keep those inventions as a secret to do their business, and thereby the dissemination of technical knowledge and other things will not come into operation at all. And therefore, in effect, the application of this intellectual property right is not reaching the poor, as it was said that some people used to say, if you can't afford to pay, you will have to die. That is the concept that is happening with regard to the mechanism that is working. I don't say the effort that is taking. The government is taking a lot of effort, but the NGOs are doing a lot of effort. Legal fraternity should form some group and other things. Ask them to study 1 or 2 years. Ask them to do what will happen after 5 years. Then try to solve the problem, which according to me is my endeavor or my answer to share with all the people at large. Thanks for the opportunity. I have taken a little more time. I'm sorry.